Greetings allies, JoeWolf26 here, and guess what, it is E3 in just a couple of days. It might even only be one day depending on when this video finally gets uploaded. It is going to be a very minimalist video. I'm recording this on Wednesday the 7th, I believe it is today. So yeah, this is going to be a very low done video so I can make sure we get it out in time for E3. So without further delay, here is my opinions and predictions on what's going to happen. But first, we got to start how we always do, with Nintendo's little early direct to try and liven up the party. And it flopped. So, for starters, I want to talk about what I was expecting with this direct. When I heard there was a Pokemon direct, I thought, okay, there'll probably be some more news and other stuff. We might get, if we're lucky, that Pokemon Switch title, where if you've seen our CageCast series, me and Liam talked about it in our Switch video about this amazing Ultimate Pokemon game. But of course, no, we didn't get that. We're getting remakes for Sun and Moon for the 3DS. Why? That was going to be my other hope for this. As Adam amazingly named, I was hoping we were going to get Pokemon Space Pearl and Time Diamond. And instead we got a remake of a game we got less than a year ago. So, you know. I guess we're just going to be in the era of games releasing patches but making them into new games. Thanks Call of Duty. And FIFA. And if you're wondering what happened in the rest of the Direct, it's basically just importing things. And I feel like that's going to be a big theme for Nintendo this year. Bringing all these old games to the Switch so they can stall time whilst they think up some new games. Things like bringing Potekken into the Switch. Things like bringing Skyrim to the Switch. Bringing all games that when they came out, we thought, those are really good. And we're sat here now like, when are we going to get a next one? Overall, Nintendo kicked it off in true fashion. It was really hype until we saw what it actually was. So let's get into the future. So starting on the 10th, that is this Saturday. I'm not going to say any times, by the way, because UK and American and all the other time zones are going to be very complicated, so I'm just going to say dates. So starting with the 10th, we have EA. It's not in the game, it's on stage, and it's probably going to be a letdown. My hopes for this, though? Last year we got to see loads of Star Wars games. I say that because we didn't see any of them at all. We just saw the making of and like 2 seconds of footage. So my hopes is that we actually get to see those games not just announced, but have full, ready-to-go trailers. And then with EA, we need some more modern stuff now. It would be great to see, I don't know, more Star Wars stuff and more of this, but I feel like now's the time for something like Titanfall. I don't mean as in like Titanfall 3, I mean something that's completely out of nowhere. I don't care if it's just a fad game, just something new that makes everyone go, that is cool, that's out there. Though, to be honest, I expect that the Star Wars games will maybe just get some titles in the background and will forever stay in development hell. Following that, it's EA, so what can we expect? Sports, agonising disappointment, and sports. Yay! Let's go to something less depressing. What's on next? Oh good, it's Microsoft. So my hopes for Microsoft has got to be some kind of Fables collection or reboot. It would be great to see that franchise return, and we haven't had a game for it since 2012. So it would be cool to see it either come back to life or to get a kind of revamped look. I'm not saying remake the story, I'm saying maybe do like the next generation, or I don't know. I never got into Fables games, they've always been on consoles I don't own, which is always fun when that happens. As well as that, since Microsoft has such big stakes in kind of PC gaming and all this, we've seen a lot of Minecraft stuff come and go, but it would be great to see Rocket League take centre stage. Some kind of new sequel to it that's basically going to make it bigger and better, because when it was originally made, it was an indie game, so it would be cool for it to kind of now have that huge financial backing, get loads more modes, loads more customization. It would be great to see it get the full works appreciation. But what I'm more expecting is that we will have lots of new info on those consoles, be it the Xbox One S, which was immediately overshadowed by Project Scorpio, and I think we're probably going to get information on both. As well as that, some kind of VR thing, or something that's going to add another layer of immersion. With PlayStation having their PlayStation VR go strong, the Oculus Rift doing stuff apparently, and all these kind of stuff, I feel like now's the time for Xbox to say, hey, we can do VR too, or hey, we can buy a company that does VR and make them do VR exclusively for us. Because why have original ideas when you can just steal other people's? Speaking of, here's Bethesda, who are sadly falling into Microsoft's pocket, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. So my hopes, Bethesda's first performance, I will always remember it, is possibly the greatest E3 presentation there's ever been, and I would love to see that followed up with them announcing Elder Scrolls 6, and do what they did with Fallout 4 and say, oh yeah, so we're making a new Elder Scrolls game. It's going to be a follow-up game. It's going to be really cool, and in the game there's like this kind of board game you can play digitally, and if you can't wait for the game, well, that board game's going to be an app, and it's available to download now, so go get it. And basically do what they did with Fallout and Fallout Shelter. It would be so cool to see that massive surge in like hype and excitement come back. We can only hope. As well as that, since Doom has now been kind of fully completed and settled, it would be awesome to see another crazy new project. Something completely out there. I know I said the same for EA, but really I just want to see it happen. I want to see something new, something mad that's going to really absorb us in. And I feel like the company to do that is Bethesda. Though what to expect really, probably some kind of Elder Scrolls spin-off. There's been rumours of like a space Elder Scrolls style game, so that would be interesting. And to be honest with Bethesda, even if it's not crazy or not completely new, I think we won't expect what they do. It's a bizarre thing, but when watching Bethesda's, I would expect to be unexpected. Does that make sense? No? Let's move on. Oh, and just in case I didn't say, both Microsoft and Bethesda are on the 11th, and we are now on to the 12th. Kicking off the 12th will be the PC Gaming Conference, and I have nothing to report on this. For those of you who don't know, in the Cage group, our editor Dylan is like the go-to guy for PC information in our group. Unfortunately, he is away, so I cannot put anything here, and I have no knowledge. Sorry, guys. Oh, on the plus side, you only have to wait till Sunday. Following that, you have Ubisoft also on the 12th. For my hopes for Ubisoft, I've put down a new Assassin's Creed game. Really, after seeing the recent film, I would love to see something more like that. Now, we've had things like Black Flags and Syndicate. We've seen that they are willing to kind of push more boundaries with these games. So it would be cool to see them do another kind of crazy extreme. With For Honoured being so popular last year, it would be really cool to see an Assassin's Creed game do something of that nature. Maybe even, instead of just sticking to one theme, have some kind of Assassin's Creed game where all the themes come together. Maybe even like a versus game where Ezio could fight Kenway and things like that. As well as that, from Ubisoft, it would be cool to see a Rayman collection game. There's been a lot of collection games recently, and Rayman has been getting a little shunted by all of this. So it'd be cool to see a way to bring him back into the spotlight, particularly with, and here's what you can now expect, that stupid, ridiculous Rabbids/Mario game. I don't think Nintendo will want to waste time on that. I say hopingly. But Ubisoft would. Ubisoft probably will. And let's face it, we're never going to get another Rayman game. It's all going to go to the blinking rabbits. So, and this is generally what my notes say. What to expect from Ubisoft this year at E3? Expect to be let down. Now to the good one. PlayStation. So, my hopes for PlayStation. Infamous Second Son 2. Infamous Second Son was one of the coolest games on the PS4 when it first opened, and now that the PS4 is potentially reaching its climax with the PS4 Pro, it would be pretty cool to see Infamous Second Son have a sequel that both wraps up some extra bits and, well, it would be a kind of a great honour since Knack is coming back and that game was appalling. It would be great to have Infamous Second Son also come back because we get to see more of Dustin and we get to see more of these great characters. Now, you're going to need to trust me with this. My other hope for the PlayStation conference is PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2. And honestly, I think this time it could work. I know I sound crazy, and I didn't actually megally enjoy the first one. But the issue with the first one was that the gameplay needed some minor tweaks, and they needed to do better characters. The PS4 has had 5 years now, and they have so many more characters to pull from. They could pull from the new God of War games, they could pull from 2 different versions of Infamous now, and then as well as that they've got Horizon, they've got Resident Evils, they've got frickin' Kingdom Hearts, that's having a boost, they could probably take stuff from that. I've suddenly blanked on all my PS2 games that I love. My PS4 games, damn it. Until Dawn, that was the one I couldn't remember. Oh, I kicked something important. Yeah, to have the Wendigos from Until Dawn, or play as Josh when he's in his psycho form, spoilers, and have it so he can summon the Wendigos in his special moves, that would be so cool. I think it could work this time. I hope it could. However, what to expect from PlayStation? Actually, it's pretty decent stuff. I mostly expect that they'll do updates on games they announced last year. Things like the God of War game. Things like these other projects that we saw but didn't get to properly hear about. Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter. That weird thing with the guy from The Walking Dead holding a baby. But let's just go with it, Kojima. I trust you, more or less. I think there will be a goodbye to the PSP. Either they will make a brand new PSP that can compete with the 3DS and with the Nintendo Switch, or they might just completely drop it and not even talk about it this year. They might just abandon the PSP, and it may be time to do so. But besides that, I think PlayStation's going to have a fairly decent year. And then finally, on the 13th, Nintendo will have another Direct. What I'm hoping for in this Direct is that we get a Fire Emblem Warriors trailer. That would be pretty good considering a bunch of stuff recently got leaked. It'd be great to see a gameplay version of that and maybe some story details. As well as that, it'd be pretty cool to hear about, wait for it, Smash 5. A Super Smash Bros. Game for the Switch would be really cool, and I said this when they were doing it originally, they now have a giant poll of who we want in a Smash Bros. Game. They can just go through and say, okay, who did people vote for? Okay, Bayonetta won most of it, so obviously keep her back in. People seem to really like Waluigi and Daisy, so we'll work them in some way. Oh, a lot of people voted for obscure characters like Geno and, I don't know, Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Always hopeful. They now have a big list literally saying, hey Nintendo, we're the fans, put these characters in. And we can hope, we can so hope that they have taken that list and used this time to slowly build up Smash 5 that will come out in 2 years. I think it'd be best if they leave it for another 2 years, maybe even reopen the poll so people can vote for more characters. But for now, just to see some kind of small trailer for it would be really, really cool. However, what I expect from Nintendo, there'll probably be that Mario Odyssey game, trying to make more sense of that madness. And as I said at the start of this video, there's going to be a lot more ports, and it's very hard to get excited about that. But we can always hope. Maybe Nintendo has a grand plan that we just haven't thought of. But not likely. Now, there is one more kind of conference-y thing going on, and that's that Square Enix will be doing their usual Square Enix Presents YouTube stream. Now, there's no dates on this, just at some point over the weekend, probably multiple times, Square Enix will be streaming and talk about stuff. What we can hope for, and what I'm particularly hoping for, is Kingdom Hearts 3 to get a release date. We can always dream. I don't even care if we don't get a new trailer, just a release date. A trailer for that Marvel game, because we got a little hint of that, and they said they want to have it done by 2020, so they might have just worked out a trailer, or at least given it a title. And as well as that, hopefully some Worlds of Final Fantasy DLC. If nothing else, just adding Noctis and Co into the game. It's a little early for a sequel for that game, but maybe next year they can announce something like that, because it has been very popular. However, what to expect? Probably like a picture of Kingdom Hearts 3 tweeted out by Tetsuya Nomura, and maybe a nod to the Marvel game, but I doubt there'll be anything solid. And yeah, there'll probably be loads of Final Fantasy 15 DLC stuff, and the same for, is it Nor? Yeah, probably some Nor DLC and stuff like that. With this year at E3, I think overall we should expect imports for the Switch. We should expect people doing one last push for VR and their new consoles. Loads of updates from everything we've seen hinted at last year that didn't seem to go anywhere. And then maybe the odd new game or two. To be honest, this year, I don't know what we can predict, but I think it's still going to be a good year. I got a good feeling. Whether it's going to be something crazy like an Until Dawn sequel, or even if it's just something basic like a Jak and Daxter collection that isn't even that much of a graphics update. I think there's hope, and that's good to have. So a week from now, expect my response video, and maybe we will have the other Rift members take part in that, so it's not just me talking about it. Okay, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys, and let's hope that E3 is going to be excellent, excellent, excellent. I generally upset myself by saying that.